Walk me through the adventure of being in California and thinking, you know what? Let's head west.
Oh my gosh.
I'll let you begin.
Well, yeah, only because I kind of took the,
The lead.
on the move, because we had just had our daughter. It was our first child. And Sainty has such an amazing family here in Fort Worth, and we've always visited, and I just fell in love with the town and the city and the people, really. Mm-hmm. And so I knew one day I wanted to live here. I just didn't know when that was going to be possible. So we had our daughter, and I was finally like, okay, maybe this is the time. Let's take her out of LA. Let's go be around family. Let's have her, in a normal, amazing upbringing with good foundations. And so we made the move.
And I came kicking and screaming. I did not want to move back because I just didn't know if there was any like arts or entertainment here. I was like, we're literally leaving our like livelihood to move to Fort Worth. I mean, that's the whole thing. I was like, there's nothing here for actors, as I thought.
The silver lining was COVID hit 2 weeks after we moved. And so now we're hunkered down with all of our family for our daughter to be around, so it doesn't feel like we're even quarantined, really. So that was check number one. What a blessing that we were in Fort Worth for that. Mm-hmm. And then the industry reopened up, and my first job opportunity, because entertainment was shut down for a year. Once it opened up, I got a call to audition for 1883. They didn't even know I was living in Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. Got the job. I sent the tape to LA. Well, Taylor Sheridan calls me to tell me I got the role, and he said it's going to be filming in Fort Worth, Texas. I was like, wait a minute. We're living in Fort Worth, Texas. So it's just like, that never happens in this industry. Right place, right time. So that was like check number 2. What a blessing. We're supposed to be in Fort Worth. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh my gosh. Then Fort Worth boomed. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like everything entertainment came here, which is wild. It's so kismet.
But it is interesting, and I don't know all the intricacies of both of your stories, but, when you're pursuing this career, the goal is to get to Hollywood.
Yes.
Right? You grow up in Florida and here, and you're thinking, all right, someday I'm going to be in Hollywood, I'm going to be in California. You guys get to California, and then you come back, and California kind of came chasing after you.
Which is just so crazy when you put it like that. But again, one of the silver linings of COVID, the industry kind of left LA. The last 5-6 films I've done have been Houston, El Paso, Oklahoma, Arkansas, so
here,
Fort Worth. So you really don't have to be out there. All of our meetings are done remotely now anyway. So there's nothing bringing us there. So why not live the life you want to live and then just kind of jet in and out for work as it comes up. But one of those blessings.
It's been a dream.
And even for your work, the ability to walk out to your studio and do voiceover work, you had to be somebody pretty special pre-COVID to have a home studio and to be able to do this kind of work remotely.
No, it was a game changer. And I always giggled that I say goodbye to the kids. I'm like, I'm headed to work. And I walk out the back door and then walk directly into another door, which is my studio. And it's just amazing. Thankfully, I established enough of a career when COVID hit because we all became, as like the entire nation, working remotely. But to be your own engineer. Now I give the biggest props to engineers and to be able to handle all the microphone what is the word? Intricacies?
Intricacies.
I'm a voiceover artist. And that was crazy. It was amazing. So I really got so blessed. And now I record mainly here. I'm going to be going back and forth to LA, but it's nice my kids have a home base here. Yeah. So Eric and I can fly wherever, but they have all their grandparents, all their aunts and uncles, and the entire Fort Worth community here behind them.
And now the best part is I came bringing her, and now she would never, ever want to leave. So now she's more in than even I am, which I'm head over heels in love with Fort Worth. But yeah, she's completely in.
Anytime he's up for a series where he has to be gone months at a time, I'm always like, well, maybe by season 3 we'll move. But I'm like, you go and come fly back to us.
Happen first.
Yes. So I'm like, we're going to stay here.
Yeah. It is interesting because it definitely feels like Cowtown's having a moment. And it is, whether it is COVID, whether it is the entertainment industry, whether it's this migration to Texas, whatever it is, it feels like it's this confluence of things. How would you describe it to people who aren't from here? Just what's happening in Fort Worth?
It's There's this boom. It's unbelievable. And I see it in entertainment from an actor's perspective. I see it through musicians, through my brother's perspective. He's a singer-songwriter who lives here now, and he's never been busier musically. He lived in New York City for years, and the minute he came to Fort Worth, he had a busier 6 months than he had in 6 years in New York City. So to see it from his perspective, and then to see all the stuff that's filming here with Taylor Sheridan and now other production companies, it's amazing. And I really think it comes down to the people, the support.
I was about the community.
The city wants
Mayor
to see
Maddie
it thriving.
Parker, I think the Fort Worth Film Commission, everybody is team entertainment and team Fort Worth, which is so cool. Like you would think maybe they're like, oh, we don't want all these things filming, and everybody's like, the more the merrier. It gives more job opportunities. It's just amazing. It's been such a blessing, and it's all because of the community and Fort Worthians rallying behind this industry.
And I always share the story because I just think it's a testament. It really shows what's happening in Fort Worth and how much they care. When I was filming the show here, 1883, Fort Worth Film Commission personally reached out, made a relationship with me, let them know they were here as a resource, as a tool, as whatever they can be supportive-wise, they wanted to be that for us. And I filmed all over the world, from London to LA to New York to you name it. I've never once ever had a relationship with someone from the Film Commission in a city, ever. So to feel the support of them even reaching out and wanting to build a relationship just showed me how excited they are for this and how much they want to give and how much they want to see this blossom in this great city. And from that moment on, I'm on the board now of the Fort Worth Film Commission, and I'm just so interactive with it, and I've never experienced that anywhere else in the world filming. And so it just shows you how much they care and how appreciative they are for the arts being here and how much they want to harvest and see it grow more.
It is interesting, and I would tell people this even when I was a college student, that you have TCU here in town, and you've got access to what at the time I think it was the 7th largest media market, now we're 5. Wow. But you have access to these world-class opportunities, but you don't feel it. You don't have the traffic, you don't have the same congestion, you don't have some of the crime issues. You just don't. And there's I think some unique reasons for that. You've got 2 city centers pretty spread out, so that helps as opposed to like Houston where it's just boom,
all in one.
But how would you describe the dynamics to someone who hasn't spent any time here about whether it's North Texas in general or whether it's Fort Worth? The people, but it's not just that. There's some other stuff in the special sauce, right?
I feel like I always describe it as the biggest small town. I'm like, it is a small town feeling, but we're ginormous, which is crazy. And everybody, I always sing the song, you wanna go where everybody knows you're, and that is DFW. I mean, truly everybody feels important. And I think that is the special sauce of North Texas. Is everybody feels included and important, and it's so inclusive and kind, and it really is such a special place. I love where, I think the slogan was, y'all means all, and it's so true. I think all of our friends that have moved here from New York and LA, I think there's a stereotype that people think when they come to North Texas or Texas, and gosh, that's not true. I mean, I think everybody really does love each other and supports each other, and it's such a special place. I just can't believe how big we are. It does blow my mind because it does feel like a small town.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it's just, there's that magic thing. You just have to be here to experience it, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. All my film buddies that I bring down here, because I'm harvesting whatever we can down here to keep it growing, because I want more people to bring work here for film and TV. And the minute they get here, they all don't want to leave,
Never leave,
and then they're trying to figure out how they can bring their production companies here to do work. They meet the people, they just see how, it's just like this camaraderie that you don't get other places, and the support. I just keep coming back to the support, but really that's what it's all about for me. And they're all slowly figuring out ways to get down here. I mean, a lot of our 1883 people have made it. Taylor Sheridan's producing partner, David Glasser, now lives here, and Christina Voros, who's doing magic in the TV world, is down here. And so they get it, and I hope other people start getting it too, because it's awesome.
You're selling Fort Worth to all your friends. What do you miss about California?
The weather's beautiful.
Oh, the weather and the food. Yeah. We were talking about earlier, I don't really like healthy food. So they have like healthy fast food. I think the access to health is a lot easier. So that I do miss, because here it's just, you get that Joe Tease, you get that, you get all the good food here.
Love it.
It's hard to, keep the weight down here.
It's tricky. I mean, you think, chips and salsa.
Nothing.
500 tortillas later.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. 3 margaritas.
Make an extra pound of brisket over here. Next thing you know. No, I get it. The weather part.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it. Like, I'm okay if I get everything I'm
that's
gaining.
Why they make airplanes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So again, recruiting people down here. Does the fact that what do we count? Is it 7 Emmys? Is that between the two?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, having 7 Emmys on the shelf is a nice little sales pitch. Like, hey, listen, we know what we're talking about. We know how to make this kind of stuff. We know what works. You should come join us. I want to talk about the kind of career before you guys got here. So it's 7 Emmys, and it's the Tony.
2 Tonys.
Two Tonys.
Yes.
So how much of a conversation piece is that when someone kind of strolls into your Fort Worth home and you've got the nice hardware on the wall?
Yeah, it's funny because in LA they walk in like, oh yeah, okay, you don't have an Oscar? Great, you guys are really doing something. And here it's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. It's just not something you see every day down here.
Yeah.
So there's that element to it, but really,
you actually do forget too. Like, I forget that they're there, and then people will come and be like, "Can I touch it?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, the Emmy Awards. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, duh." So that's the wild part. It really, I truly forget that we have them until people come over.
And the accolades great. It's whatever, but it's getting people to answer your phone calls, which to me is the most important part of it. They see that in the email, or whatever, or they know of us and they know our success, and so they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure what they have to say is worth listening to and considering.
And being so young, I mean, we are the youngest. I don't think anyone's beaten us yet. He's the youngest Emmy-winning producer, and I'm the youngest female Emmy producer because he's younger than me.
So let's talk about what got you recognized. So what'd you win the youngest one for?
So it was a web series called The Bay, which was this. So it's a great story because I was presenting at the Daytime Emmy Awards with All My Children, which is the show I was on before The Bay. And the show was just ending. The creators of The Bay were there, Gregory Martin and Christos Andrews, and they came up to me like, hey, you were our favorite part of All My Children. We'd love you to work on our show. I was like, well, funny thing is, my show just ended. I'm now moving to LA, so it's perfect. And so they put us on The Bay, and it was kind of one of those pioneering online television shows that really started it all before people even were really considering it as a medium for television. And it was just this little engine that could. And I saw the potential there. We both did. And we jumped on board, and I think it was the first year we were involved with it.
It was the first year they won.
They won the Emmy for New Media at the Daytime Emmys. So it was just one of those, wow, I can't believe what we thought could happen happened. And it just kind of grew from there. And I worked on the show for years and got to film all over the world. We did Belgium and London and Puerto Rico. And so it's been an amazing experience. And you can find it on Peacock. And it's still running, and it's still going strong, and still winning awards. So it's just been
still
one
holds
of those.
a special place in our heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And tell me the Tony story.
The Inheritance. So we are both Broadway babies, and we are obsessed with Broadway. Our heart belongs on Broadway. And after we won the Tony Awards, we were like, we have to produce Broadway.
After
it
we
just
won the
like
Tony Awards?
Oh, after we won the Emmy Awards. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, all these awards, I wish. Gosh. And I just knew that we had to give back to that community and because this was this after COVID or during COVID?
No, during, right before. It was
okay, so it was
COVID
just
hit.
like, we knew, and then COVID hit, and I think the Tonys were pushed back. So it was the night before I actually was induced to have Mick, our son.
Which is crazy.
So
we almost
unfortunately,
named
we
him Tony.
couldn't go.
I mean, there was a close one there.
Yes. So we're sitting there, and it's like the night before I'm induced, right here. And it was the first Tony Awards back from COVID. And we won. It was it was truly insane. So within 12 hours, we won 2 Tony Awards and had our son Mick. I mean, it was wild. I think that was probably the craziest 12 hours of our lives.
Truly. But the biggest part of the Tony situation for us was, like Sainty touched on, was giving back to the theater community. Helping create something that could, put people in the seats and just bring this incredible piece of art to theaters, to the theater and theater community. And again, we knew it was going to be a massive success just because of the script and the director and the cast involved. But you never really know how things are going to go. And then to see what it did and to see what it's still doing is just everything and more we could have imagined. The Tony's just a feather in the cap, but just bringing
whole experience of it.
Yes.
Exactly. But really, it changed a lot of lives, and it's such a powerful play that I just couldn't be more proud of it.
I do want to talk about the 1883 universe and Taylor Sheridan, because obviously that's what really perked a lot of people's ears up and eyes up about the film industry here. So much has been made of the kind of Taylor Sheridan universe and the Cowboy camp, and his Midas touch, if you will, with the shows that he's made. Your experience in being able to be a part of a great story like 1883, what kind of place does that hold for you in your heart?
Oh my gosh, I mean, it changed my life, completely changed my life. And the testament to Taylor Sheridan and his real gift is creating authenticity in his projects, and I think that's what speaks volumes to people. He easily could have done this on a studio lot at Paramount in LA and just made it seem like we were in the world, but he's like, no, we're going to be filming exactly where the story's taking place. And so the story starts in the stockyards of Fort Worth, Texas. So he's like, that's where we're going to film this. And as we're on the trail, we're filming on the trail throughout Texas and ultimately end up in Montana. But that gift that he gives his actors to not only play these roles, but to live the life of these characters while we're shooting it is so rare. And like I touched on, oftentimes we're just pretending to be somewhere else in the back of Universal Studios or whatever. So to just be out there with nature, surrounded by animals and wildlife, and days that it was raining, we're filming in the rain. Days that it's windy, we're filming in the wind. We went with the flow because that's exactly what would have happened when they were on the trail in the 1800s. So just to have that experience and fully immersed ourselves in that world was life-changing, and I'll forever be grateful to Taylor for that.
And I think with the Yellowstone cast and the 1883 cast, there's like a special little thing about, they all truly love each other. Like they're all still best friends. And I think that's why the audience keeps going back to those two shows too, because they really have such a connection and this special relationship. I mean, we talk to everybody in the cast, every other day at least.
Oh, absolutely.
With both cast of Yellowstone and 1883. So I think people can read that and sense that. So that's just a testament, once again, to Taylor.
And the coolest part to me now, post-filming, are the people that come up to me in Texas that tell me stories of their ancestors and that are thanking me for telling their story and sharing with me, the struggles their families went through back then, and the heirlooms they have of their families on the trails, and all these just special things that mean so much to Texans, and especially Fort Worth, because this is where it all started. I didn't realize when we were filming how impactful and truly emotional that will be for so many people that I'm living around right now and their families. But that's the biggest thing for me now, is just knowing that we were bringing the stories of so many of our fellow Texans' lives and ancestors to life. And just seeing their response to that made it all even more incredible.
And cowboy culture and cowgirl culture. I'm now a big part of the Cowgirl Museum. I just received an award from the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. And that's still like Sainty. I'm like, that is so crazy. I never thought. We were at Tim McGraw backstage and someone comes up to me and they were like, oh, Eric, we're such a fan of 1883 and you're married to that cowgirl. And I was like, oh my gosh, the first thing I would ever think of myself. I'm like, but yes, that is what I am now. So that is so cool. I think that part of it, that we really have embraced the whole cowboy, cowgirl culture now and like fully immersed in this world.
Little version of you, little kid you, and you look forward to now and you think, I would have never imagined these moments. Whether it's an accolade or someone you got to work with or whatever. What's the biggest pinch me moment that you've had, Sainty?
Oh my goodness. Ooh, pinch me moment. Okay, this is gonna be a little, but I say sorry about being a mom because I never wanted kids and I never thought I'd get married. I just thought I'd be this Broadway girl. So I think that was such a pinch me moment. I just remember like, there's been moments I've looked around, I'm like, oh my gosh, I talk about it on our podcast and I started to cry. I've never been just so content and so happy in my entire life. Like everything I never thought would happen in my life has happened. Just to having this amazing husband that we're like obsessed with each other and love to work together. And then these two perfection little kids. I mean, and having all of our family over every day. I mean, it's just magic. I feel like that's been my pinch me moments. Like Christmas Day, just being like, this is it. This is what I imagined life to be. Kind of cornball answer, but it really is my truth in the sense, I just never imagined this to be my life. It's so cool.
As entertainers and artists, who knew what we wanted to do from such a young age, and so many of our friends and people we're surrounded by in the industry, you're so focused on this career and this goal of being successful, and you're never there.
No, it's always.
And you're always battling this uphill battle, and once one show ends, you're right back to square one. And so, before we met each other, it was just that was our life. That's all we ever wanted. That's all we could ever imagine ourselves doing. And somehow God blessed us with ourselves, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. And then if this works out, great. And if it doesn't, everything's going to be okay. And that's when that started working out even more. Because all of a sudden the pressure wasn't there. And then we bring kids into our lives. And it's like, oh, this is what I've always wanted. I didn't know it until it was there. And then everything else that you've been focusing on and fighting for and going up and down all of a sudden starts falling into place even more seamlessly because there's not all that pressure on it. Now it's like this is the foundation and this is what we wanted. But we didn't know until we had it that was even a possibility.
I was expecting to have Tim McGraw on my contacts list on my phone, but I guess we'll.
We went deep with that.
No, I appreciate that. That's the good stuff. And I mean, I do think you're right that especially with these pursuits, the ones who rise to the top are the ones who don't quit. I believe that wholeheartedly. But I think it's also, it takes a long time to become an overnight sensation. All the cliches we've heard are that for a reason because time and time again, I think people have borne them out. I want to get into what you're working on because I'm taking up a ton of your time and we've got more to talk about. You guys decide, you know what, we've got enough on our plate. Let's launch a podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is something you've been wanting to do for a while.
Oh my gosh, I wanted this since probably 2014.
Yeah.
We would have been one of the first. But I just don't think we were in the headspace too in the time. And we had, all of us, our whole world, COVID and everything that's happened in our world. And we had a son that was very, very sick. And Molly, I think we finally were able to come into a space where it was time for our voices to be heard. I think that was I remember during 1883, our son was deathly ill. And so everybody thought it was the best time of our lives. And it was truly the worst time of my life. So I just remember looking at Eric being like, this is some BS. We need to tell the world this. Because I think so much you see is like the accolades and getting ready behind the scenes with the film crew. And that's just so not the truth. So much of the time you have to go home or you go home to an empty home, or I was like, we were going home to a very sick son. And I remember being like, this is what we need to show people is truly the glamour and grit of our industry and just bringing normality. I just always feel like we're so normal and just like, we'll have pinch me moments and then it's like, we go back to two toddlers in our bed. And I was like, that's reality. So I just remember being like, this is what we need to show, is what real life is. Because we're just normal like everybody else. that
Just with some enemies hanging out behind you.
Just,
Yeah.
you know, those things. And the coolest part is the relationships that we've built. So we've got all this network of amazing friendships that we also wanted to capitalize on, because it's like, you know, we can call people who have worked with Steven Spielberg or Quentin Tarantino and talk to them
Yeah.
and share stories and let the world know who they are, and, you know, kind of bring that aspect of into our podcast as well. So you get 2 episodes a week. Friday's a live episode, which is us being us. It's just the 2 of us talking about the week, talking about the struggles, talking about the successes, whatever happens. Talking about what's going on in the media, you name
Yes,
it.
the whole mood changes every Friday. Like last week, I had just gotten off a plane, directly went into studio. So I was so unhinged. I was just out of control talking about airport etiquette. I mean, it so depends what our mood is that day. Fridays may be my favorite, just because it's like a couple in bed at the end of the night when you're just like saying everything. That is us on Fridays.
And then Mondays, we get to call our fun, cool friends that we know and interview them, from Yellowstone actors to, you know, singer-songwriters
To
you
Girl
name
with
it.
No Job, with major
To
influencers,
top
comedians.
podcasters. Yeah, so it's just been so much fun. And we're even learning more about ourselves through it and through our friends. It's like, it's almost a therapy session for her
We
and
giggle.
I.
We've never needed, we thought, marriage therapy, and this has become marriage therapy.
Yeah, it really, like, we could have the worst day ever. We sit down and all of a sudden we just,
It's like you come back.
Talking out.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
like a first date every time because you have a camera on you. So it's like, okay, we got to leave what's behind, and then we like get going into the nitty and gritty. I mean, some of our favorite episodes, we have had like blowouts walking in, being like, oh, you are so annoying me. Da-da-da-da. And then we sit down and we're like, oh my God, that was our best episode yet. I mean, it just is so funny. So you never really know.
And we don't want to filter it. You know, we're like, if we're going to do this and we're going to show ourselves, we want to be as authentic to who we are as possible, because we want that to read to the listeners. And so that's our driving focus in it, is just if we're having a terrible day, we're going to have a terrible day on the podcast.
Yeah, and
We're gonna talk about it,
we'll talk about what had happened.
because that's life.
Yeah, I remember flying back from New York after we had done, we call it Celebrity Monday. And I turned to Eric and I was like, I am so scared. Like, are we really gonna do this? Like, this is so vulnerable. And I'm just putting it all, is it dumb? Because we're so involved in the community, and it's like, we're gonna share every bit of ourselves. And people are gonna have opinions about it. And Eric just turns to me and he was like, yeah, like, let's do it. Let's show us. And if you don't love us, that's fine. But at least we're gonna be true to ourselves. And I think where people have gravitated is just seeing us on our everyday, and just those moments, those silly moments, and real life couple, and we have 2 toddlers. And so
even
that
though
part.
we're actors and we're in this industry, it's so relatable to every other parent our age, or to every other millennial, or to every other human being going through stuff, or, you know, trying to figure out how to balance this crazy work life with family life. Because even if we're actors and you're oil and gas, you're still trying to juggle the travel, you're still trying to juggle the time away. And so it's so crazy, and it's so cool to see how much we do relate to other people, even if you have nothing to do with the entertainment industry.
Well, I think too, some of it in a kind of a post-COVID world, whatever that looks like, is this idea of, you know, carpe diem, seize the day. You know what? I am going to strike out on this endeavor because life's too short, and we've seen that people have, like, you know, if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. You know, that kind of
Yeah.
idea. And I
Exactly.
think, you know, that mentality gets honed for sure in the entertainment industry. But the podcast, when you're talking about, you know, expanding your kind of business interests, whether it is bourbon
Yes.
or whatever, it feels like you guys have kind of like taken this idea that, you know, we're creating new stuff, and it may or may not be on camera.
Right.
It may be totally different. I mean, it seems like you really kind of embraced that role.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, I had watched enough Instagram motivational videos from speakers and stuff to know that, like, okay, we have these ideas, let's just do it. And we might fall on our face, but we're going to learn from it, and we can't say we didn't try.
And the only guarantee is if you don't do it, it won't happen.
Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, got the bourbon, Bucking Bull bourbon, which I'm really proud of. And we are now in all Total Wines across the DFW area and growing through Texas. All your favorite bars and restaurants, you can find us, buckingbullbourbon.com. And it's just, again, it's kind of embracing the Western lifestyle and bringing this great spirit to the great state of Texas.
Yes, and I think we've dove in fully to the charitable world too. It's just, I think that's so much this community has been so good to us, and so we are trying to give back as much as we can too. I think we're on every board, every
Because we
philanthropy.
don't have enough free time.
Yes, no.
We don't.
Eric makes fun of me, but I truly probably have a philanthropy every week.
Oh, we do. We were literally, she was speaking at the American Heart Association as I was in Florida, speaking and raising money for an amazing charity for canines, for service canines. And so we're like, hey, love you. Hope Saturday goes great. She's like, you too.
Yeah, and I'm wearing Worthy Co., which is for the net sex trafficking victims. I think that has been so much. I told Eric, I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life too, because this community has been so good to us, and we want to do as much as we can for this community as well, because it has changed our lives.
Given the new endeavors you're tackling, given what you've done already, given where you are, is there a bucket list kind of like North Star for you? I want to try this thing, or I want to head in this direction. Is there something that resonates that way for you?
Mine would probably be like a lifestyle brand meets like Kelly Clarkson show. Like I would love, to be on the local channel every morning. Just like that kind of, I always say I'm every man's man. And I love talking to people and just love, and I feel like I can always mix highs and lows with all my stuff. I have a precious, amazing following on LTK that just kind of, that kind of thing. A lifestyle world is definitely my dream.
You'd be so good at it too. I see her in like the Kelly Clarkson show or something. I would just love for you to have something.
Probably like Drew Barrymore on top of people. Just really loving all of them.
Hey, Drew.
I mean, just a little close.
I mean, for me, honestly, it's staying consistently working in the South. I mean, I hope the industry doesn't go back to LA. I hope casting doesn't go back in the room, which I don't think it will, because they're saving so much money and time by not. But keeping work in the South and just staying busy down here around the people I love. Truly, I think that would be, if I could ride that way forever, I would be the happiest person.
I think it sums it up.
Yeah.
Anything we didn't talk about you want to hit?
We have Gabby's Dollhouse movie coming.
Oh, yeah.
So Gabby's Dollhouse is the hit Netflix series, animation series. I play Pillow
I've seen
Cat.
every episode.
Of course.
Me too. No,
You
I
went for
giggle.
Halloween last year, right?
Eric said on the podcast, he was like, what are you going into season 5? And I'm like, sure. Our phones blew up. So we had just released season 9. So every friend of mine knows every season because it's flying by. But we have the movie coming in 2025 in September. So that's huge. So I'm going back and forth recording to LA.
That's awesome.
So that's a major moment.
Across theaters.
Your pathway, kind of climbing the ladder, because you grew up here, you grew up in Florida, was there a move to LA or move to New York moment? And then how did you guys meet? I didn't get that either. So I want to get the pathway first.
Yeah, so I was living in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I was taking dance classes at this local dance studio. My sister danced her whole life, and I would go with her, and I was like, oh, that seems kind of fun. Let me try it out. And so I did, and I started tap dancing, and I fell in love with it. And I was playing hockey and doing all the sports, but also on my other free time, I was like doing these secret dance classes that none of my friends really knew about. And in the dance studio, they offered an acting class. So I got into that, and I completely fell in love with it. I started doing regional theater in Florida, and at one of my dance competitions, which my little brother then started taking, he got scouted from an agent from New York saying they wanted to cast Chip in Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. We really think your brother should audition. And so we flew for him to audition. He ended up getting the job, and we were going to allow him, my allergies, we flew to New York to have him audition, and he booked the job. We're like these South Florida tourists that had gone to New York to see Broadway, never dreamed of living there. And we're like, well, we got to let him do it. So he signed a couple-month contract. I signed with an agent right away. First audition I ever went on, I booked. And a couple months.
Hard life. I know, ever.
Oh, it was just crazy. And the agent was like, you're meant to do this. You're meant to do this. And 3 months of Beauty and the Beast job turned into 11 years. We just never left. And it just snowballed from there. And we just kept auditioning and kept getting jobs. And I was on Broadway by the time I was 16. And I just knew that I wanted to do this forever. And somehow, some way, was able to make that work. But I think there was no pressure on it. My parents weren't in the industry. There was never like a, you've got to do this. There was no stage mom thing at all. My mom was just so supportive. She always would say, she's like, hey, if you want to be a chef tomorrow, we can go to chef school. Like, whatever you wanted to do, I'm here to support you. And we never didn't want to perform. And so, you know, the hockey game stopped, and the soccer and the tennis stopped, and the acting just went full force. And that kind of segued me into film and TV. And then I just realized at like 18 or 19, I was like, oh, so I can make a living doing what I love to do, and it doesn't feel like work, and I could do this forever. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And so it just was one of those things. And that's how we met, because Sainty, well, you can get into your story and how you started, but she graduated musical theater at college and went to New York City to do Broadway and met my cousin. They became best friends. And so my cousin introduced us, which was the best thing ever, because when my family found out I was dating her, they were like, oh, we already know Sainty. We love Sainty. There was no break-in period.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the easiest thing ever. It was amazing.
Yeah, and he was 19, I was 21, and that was it. And we've been married 10 years now. I wish I could say 10 years later, like I wish we were 29 and 31. But yes, I grew up here and started at Casa Manana at the age of 3 and went to college for musical theater at Baldwin Wallace, and then moved to New York, and kind of just everything exploded from there, which is so wild. And met E-Man, and we got married and moved to LA, and now we're back here. Y'all are stuck with us, which is so wild. I know, I always giggle, like, between his brother, the musician, Matt Gumley, y'all have to look him up. He's beyond amazing. I'm like 10 Broadway shows later, he's now playing at Billy Bob's. I mean, just what a full circle all of us have had, which is so crazy to me.
But bottom line is what I've, now being a parent, learned through all of it is support your kids' dreams. You know, let them harvest their creativity, let them harvest whatever it is they're passionate about, because you never know, that could turn into the rest of their life. And that was something my mom always showed and shined a light on, and now that's what we try to do with our kids. And you know, whatever that may be, it's just so important to harvest kids, you know, thoughts and passions and creativity, and they'll grow up thanking you one day for it.
Oh my gosh, I spoke at Tanglewood yesterday, the elementary school, and I did some voices for them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, their parents are gonna be thrilled when they all come home and be like, I wanna be a voiceover artist when I grow up. I'm like, who knows about that career?